Your Honor, if I may, the concern we have is we just found out, 2 or 3 days ago that Ethan Crumbley's trial was moved to January. And
yes. Why do I care?
Because we need him as a witness in this trial, even if he gets up there and has to plead the fifth.
Wow. Are they throwing their son under the bus to save themselves? The parents of the 15-year-old charged with a shooting rampage at a Michigan high school could call on their son to testify in their case. James and Jennifer Crumbley both face 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter after their son, Ethan, allegedly shot and killed 4 students and injured 7 others at Oxford High School last November. The intention to call their son to the stand shocked the courtroom, and prosecutors argue the defense will use Ethan Crumbley to downplay the role of his parents. Rachel Fazay is a criminal defense attorney and is joining us live tonight. So the defense says, we're not trying to throw Ethan under the bus to save the parents. Do you buy that?
I don't buy it. I also don't think that Ethan, if he's advised by counsel, will in any way testify, as the Fifth Amendment covers a whole host of things that could be incriminating. I've had clients and other people not answer their name under the Fifth Amendment guys. So it's hard to believe that there's anything that he could go up and say that would not possibly be used against him in his own legal action.
Well, that is what confused me, because I heard the interaction between the defense attorneys and the judge today, and the judge even seemed to allude that there are some questions that he may potentially be able to answer and not plead the fifths. And I started to think, what would that be?
His birthday? There is literally not much that he will be able to say that could possibly help his parents. I think they want him there, they want his presence there, and they want to point to the real shooter at some point in their legal argument and take the responsibility away from his parents.
Does the judge have the final say if he is called to the witness stand?
No, the attorneys may call him. It's whether he shows up or exercises his Fifth Amendment and doesn't even go to the witness stand. They can compel him to go up to the stand and plead the fifth to every question that he feels that it's advised for him to plead the fifth to. So normally the judge won't get involved as to whether he pleads the fifth or not, but the judge may, in some instances, say, no, he doesn't even have to show up. He's only going to plead the fifth.
But his mental competency is still in question. Can you call someone to the stand when you're not even sure if they can adequately answer your questions? They're still under evaluation.
That's a very good point. And as he's under evaluation, he shouldn't go up and answer questions, as that would show that he could possibly answer questions. And again, it hurts his case when he tries to show he's incompetent. I don't see how him and his parents here are not at complete odds in what they're trying to do.
Right. It was an unusual request. I mean, the prosecutors even had a physical response to the request because it was such a surprise. The prosecutors do have a tough case here, though, and Ethan's journal, it seems to me, will be a major point of contention here. In his journal, he says, I want help, but my parents don't listen. I have zero help from my mental problems, and it's causing me to shoot up the school. My parents won't listen to me about the help of a therapist. So how critical is this journal to the prosecution's case of a conviction?
Oh, I think that journal is incredibly critical. So the prosecution might want him in there so they can say it's not hearsay. But that is an incredible statement. I am asking my parents for help, and they are not giving it to me, but instead they're giving me ammo and guns. I mean, that journal is a huge piece of evidence.
They are charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Who has the tougher case right now, the defense attorneys representing them or the prosecutors?
It's highly unusual to charge the parents in a case like this. So this is somewhat a novel case. I think the prosecution has a hard time with this case because shooting and what was done is such a heinous act. The parents were not on the scene. So that, I think the prosecution is trying to prove a somewhat novel case under involuntary manslaughter. But the evidence in this case really does continue to support the prosecution's case.
There was also some discussion today, Rachel, between the judge and the attorneys about the timing of the trial. So right now, the parents' trial is set for October. They were sort of trying to plan around the holidays. They don't want a jury to be deciding this around the anniversary of the shooting. And also that Ethan's trial is set for January of next year. The judge denied a request to move it out of the county, restricted both sides from speaking publicly. Anything unusual about the conversations they're having about the timing of it and some of these restrictions from the judge?
I think the timing here may have to do with whether he's going to take the Fifth Amendment. So if he has already had his trial or pled guilty or whatever's happened to him has happened, I think the Crumbleys are trying to have their trial after that. If for some reason he has a free pass to talk at that point. So I think that was a little bit of the timing discussion as it relates to his trial following his parents' trial. Beyond that, I don't think there's anything particularly unusual. The judge denied the request to change the venue, saying that they could get a fair trial still in Oakland County. That was probably a pretty close call given what happened in the county. But beyond that, I think that the rest of the motions and discussions seem pretty normal.
Well, as it stands right now, it sounds as though the trial will take place in October. We'll see, and we'll also see the big what if Ethan takes the stand. Rachel, as always, appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.